Hey everybody, so this is Line with Purpose First Live. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So if you can hear that noise in the background, that's actually one of the ingredients for that's gonna go with the salad that we're making. So not just for today on this live are we doing the salad dressing. I'm actually going to walk you through the steps on how I made the viral TikTok salad. I believe it's called the sweet pepper and cucumber salad, but I did it with a twist. So let's go ahead and get started. So today, since this is my first live, I actually wanted to explain to y'all who I am, why I started this channel, and in general, why I went this route. So a little bit of backstory about me. I was a veteran. I'm a veteran. I did 10 years in the Navy, and I was a corpsman. And before I decided to become a corpsman, I noticed a lot of health issues on predominantly my biological father's side of the family. And I was always OCD and obsessed with health and finding ways to navigate my life around it. I don't know what. I feel like that's something I just always been connected to, but more importantly, because of the health issues concerning my dad's side of the family. They're from the South, they're from Louisiana. They eat everything that's got sugar, fat, large, you name it, they got it. Not everybody from my dad's side of the family is big. Unfortunately, I take after his side when it comes to genes and DNA, health choices. So you name it, he probably got it. And because of that, I chose to be more conscious of my health. And I started this channel because I noticed when I talk to other women, with me doing 10 years in the Navy, and I know I might ramble, but I'm coming back to a full circle. When I talk to other women of color, especially women of color, they all had a similar story that was to mine, and it was more or less, how they were treated, how they weren't respected, how they were viewed, and how they were categorized, how they were stigmatized. And I realized a lot of times when it came to the settings we were placed in. Hold on, by the way. I was just checking on the chickpeas. A lot of the settings we were placed in, unfortunately, we were typecast as in being angry, bitter, everything that was negative or super positive, as in, oh, she's uplifting and she's positive, she's never had a bad day. And I know that goes a lot with just most people, but unfortunately, when it comes to women of color, especially in the military, we have like black and white. There's no gray, there's no room to be fluid in any other category. And that bit me in the end. I eventually ended up getting out because my mental health could not take it. And I'm going to do another live about my experience in the military, because when I say tell y'all it's a testimony, the person that you see on this live is not the person I was about 3 years ago. I was extremely angry, bitter, resentful, you name it. The negative connotation stuck to who I was at the time. And it's because I allowed, unfortunately, my circumstances to dictate how I move and how I navigate myself. But I got out because when I say I couldn't take it, I literally could not function in that environment because it was literally taking a mental toll on me. I've always been interested into mental health, health in general, wellness and fitness. But just once I got out, came to a full it came to like crashing down. So what I mean by that, the first year I got out, to be honest, I don't remember most of it. Most of the 10 years that I did in the Navy, I don't remember most of it. And it's unfortunate that I say that. I remember certain things, certain situations, but most of the people I was stationed with, most of the people I hung out with, most people I talked to, I don't talk to them. I don't remember most of them. I don't remember most of the things that happened to me. It's almost like I blacked it out. Do I remember a lot of the traumatic stuff? Yeah. But um, unfortunately, when it comes to certain situations, I think from as I've been healing, I've either learned to just let it go and not think about it and heal from it, as in learning my lesson from it to move on. But if you was to ask me, well, what did you do your first year? I could tell you I was stationed at, and I could tell you some of the people I might still be cool with now, but overall, what happened, I really couldn't tell you like day to day what I did. It was just it was too much. It was a lot. I would say, unfortunately, that happened to me while I was in. So, but moving on from that, since I've gotten out, I've taken the necessary steps to work on myself, to work on my healing, to work on my health, my wellness, and my fitness, what brought me to this channel. The first year I got out, when I tell you, because I had bottled up and internalized so much, because you have to understand, I did a decade in the Navy. I didn't do 5 years, 2 years, and I didn't really take vacation time. I was always the first one to go be somewhere. I was always essential for the most part. And I didn't realize how that would take a toll on who I ended up eventually becoming. When I got out, I didn't have anybody really there to support me. I had a few people, and I'm grateful for them. But honestly, I was on my own. Like I had one of my closest friends, Catherine. She did my pack out for me. I had my other friends. They just checked on me when they could. But you have to realize life be lifing. So people going to do what they can do for them as well. And it's not to be selfish, but you have to understand. I was transitioning out of the Navy, so at that time, I was in a different headspace. And because of that, my first year in the Navy, my first year out of the Navy, um, everything that I had suppressed for a decade came back full circle. And it wasn't like one time, it was at the most random time. It was at the most traumatic time in my life. It was while I was working, it was while I was sleeping. I get woken up in the middle of the night. I'm crying. I'm literally unstable. I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. I'm not bathing. I'm not doing hygiene maintenance. I'm not doing stuff that you should be doing to make sure you're okay. And I'm literally walking around like a zombie. I did this while I had a full-time job, mind you, and went to school. Thank goodness I graduated, and I also published a children's book. But the ironic thing is, I was driving myself into a hole because the first year I got in the Navy, I got out in November of 2021. I got a job December 12th of 2021. So I didn't even give myself a chance to, and I've been working ever since. And I've noticed, because I'm also getting older, I've noticed since then, like the job I have now, I don't go to work every day. It's hybrid. So I go to work when they need me to, and I am at that job. But once I leave that job, I, decenter myself from that job or from that title, and I am myself, a Nash. Um, but going back to what happened to me, the first year I got in the Navy, I was having flashback after flashback after flashback after flashback, and it was so bad I had a panic attack at work. It was so bad when I also coupled it, I caught COVID too. So I was having dysrhythmia, I believe that's what they called it, of the heart, and they couldn't figure out why. Like it was to the point I was fainting at work. It was to the point when I caught COVID, I was having panic attacks, anxiety attacks. I was super depressed to the point I had also gained about 50 pounds. Um, I was eating, I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. Like I can count under 100 hours of how much sleep I got the first year I got the Navy. So just very unhealthy cycles I was entertaining. Then I was just spending money frivolously, and I was making so much of it, but I wasn't happy because I felt empty and dead inside. Um, when I caught COVID at the job I was at the time, that didn't help with my mental state. And I say all that to say this page, as simple as it has been for me to make it, because it's an extension of who I am. This page is a result of me post-COVID. So I caught COVID back in 2022. And I was working at a job where it was in the medical field. I was a medical records clerk working out of Texas. And I'm going to be honest, the conditions weren't that safe or healthy Like there were people who caught COVID, they wouldn't tell us till after we've been sitting by them for X amount of hours. And it's like most of my coworkers had it, but we were fine to a day or two. Also, I was working 72-hour shifts. So because of that, I caught COVID because I was running myself ragged off of no sleep, working all the time, and not finding a median. Okay. Um, with all of that, I caught COVID. I'm not gonna lie, that experience was unnatural, and that also led me to the reason why. Oh, that also led into the reason why I went into this field as well. So I'm working 72 hours a week. I'm making a lot of money. It was like a natural amount of money. With all of that, I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. Again, if I was eating, I wasn't eating healthy stuff that was going to help me balance out, especially my mental. So I was eating whatever they fed us. And because of that, when I caught COVID, when I tell people that was a ungodly experience, I had thoughts in my head about unnatural things. And I didn't realize how connected the spiritual world is to that, to COVID, until I was actively going through it. Like I heard about it and you were like, whatever, maybe. But with me actually having experience firsthand, I'm going to tell you what it was like. My mental state was under attack the entire time. I literally was hearing voices and thoughts of negative stuff the entire time, and it was trying to get me to give up. So I want to also add about this page. So not do I only just talk about health, I talk about wellness, fitness, and spirituality. And with that, I'm a Christian first before anything. So if this offends you talking about the Lord, it's okay if you click off. It wasn't meant for you to hear it. But if you're drawn to it and you want to know more, follow. I'm here for that reason. So back to what I was saying. I literally was diving between being right with God, because before I had got out of the Navy, and I hate to double back, but sometimes I got to do it. Before I got to the Navy, God wanted me to forgive everybody. And I mean everybody who ever did me dirty. And mind you, there was a lot of people, because I'm gonna do more and more of these lives, and I'm gonna tell you some of the stuff I experienced, and y'all gonna be like, that happened in the military. So I was told, instructed by the Lord, to let it go, to forgive those people, because He has way better for me that I could ever imagine. When I tell y'all, I was like, nah, bruh, it's on site. It's gonna always be on site. We gonna be on site. It's just gonna have to be like that. It is what it is. And God was like, do you trust me? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. So I did forgive those people, but I still carry a lot of resentment in my heart. Fast forward to the COVID. In the midst of me having it, God wanted me to treat it like I was treating a regular fever. You know how you cook a fever? You drink a lot of water, you sleep in layers, and you take a hot shower, and you sleep in layers, and you sweat it out, and you drink hot tea, and you sweat it out, and you exercise. Like, it sounds crazy, you exercise. All the stuff I do now to maintain my health, I did when I had COVID. And when I tell you, it did not feel like, I also prayed, of course. When I say it did not feel like I had COVID, it felt like I had a sinus infection, which sucks because I had that before. Compared to what most people have, they're on ventilators, they lose their smelling, their sense of taste, all that. I didn't have none of that. I didn't have none of that. In fact, I had literally what I just said. It felt like I had a sinus infection. Nothing more, nothing less. So because of that, and me talking to God, I realized I can't keep acting like He doesn't exist, is first of all. And second of all, if He's sparing me from what most people have experienced, is for a reason. I didn't realize that until a year later, when I was still having symptoms. I was gaining more and more weight, and I could not figure out why. My mental state had took a complete dive, and I was already done with the contract at the time. I was back home, and I could not understand why I was feeling this way, why I was experiencing this, and why I was just not in a good space mentally. I ended up taking a job um, that was local. I worked at appointment center. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I ever work for the government again, no shade, no tea, it can't be every day. I can't do every day. If I do, I don't ever want to do a call center. Not because I hate people that work at call centers, but because I did it. And I'm gonna be honest when I say this, that's a lot. Um, but I did that job. That job I realized is not for me. It takes a different type of person to work in that field. However, I will say this, that I learned to use my communication skills to get what I needed and my point across for that job, but it served its purpose. But I was still having like breathing issues, body aches, chills. Y'all, I've been diagnosed with ADHD. For any of y'all who don't know what that means, I should have the energy of a toddler or someone that's addicted to drugs. And I'm only saying it because that's like the best way to compare it. And I hate saying that, but if I'm saying that, I told you I worked a 72-hour job while going to school, and I graduated, and I published a children's book. This is prior to COVID. Once COVID hit, I didn't have half of that energy. My mental state was beyond shaky. You name it. I had breathing issues. I had difficulty walking up the stairs. I had body aches. You just name it when it comes to COVID. I had it associated with it. I just didn't have the loss of sense, the loss of smell and taste. I didn't get that until a while ago, like actually last November. I lost my taste for about a few months, but that's another story for another day. Oh, but for the record, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm going to make salmon bites that I saw this on TikTok, and I'm going to add that with the salad. So as I'm talking, I'm actually prepping the food for this dish that's going to be on display after I'm done with everything. All right. So back to what I was saying. Let me see. I'm trying to get the rest of this stuff. All right, my bad. Y'all just bear with me. So I had caught COVID, right? And I got cured. I got cured of it. So I thought, mind you, I was only out for about 5 days. So I didn't take more than that, to be clear. They swabbed me and they said I was good to go. I should have known that was a setup, but that's neither here nor there. So it was a year, about, it wasn't about a year, but it was some time since I had got out, since I had got done with that contract, because that was a contract job as well. I got a new job and I just could not put my finger on it. I was gaining all this weight, but I was eating healthy. And I couldn't figure out why. And no one could tell me why. I found this doctor, just something, and I really remember, actually, let me backtrack. I remember when I was working in Texas, I would go get colonics, not routinely, but I got it every now and then. And I started doing my research of like just trying to like detox, because I started doing fasting, intermittent fasting, and it worked. So that I started doing I started doing a deep dive on like how to heal yourself naturally, and I came upon detoxes. And I was like, this is something I've never really heard of. And then I realized people around the world have been doing this for centuries. And the West, unfortunately, is behind in that. And it's ironic because I got my first colonic done in Texas. And let's just say when you realize what's been inside of you the whole time, you take a second look at what you've been putting in your body and what you've been feeding yourself. I know I did. Ever since then, I have done that. So because of that, I then ended up coming back home, finding a doctor who did the same thing, and been rocking with her until she left. Unfortunately, life be lifing again. And what I did was I took a few chapters from her page, and I made my own. And as I do my research, I make my own lifestyle routine that works for me. But when I got back home and I seen that I was gaining weight still, I did a detoxification process with her. 21 days, y'all. When I tell you, the green smoothies, you have to have a certain amount of will to do that. Okay. You can't just say, oh, hey, I'm just going to do this for a couple of days. No. I was also doing colonics with her. And yes, it was an investment. So how much money did you spend? A lot. Okay, a lot. Um, but I will say, because of that, she's changed my life, and I am forever grateful because of her. I would not be where I'm at today, healed from a lot of my ailments because of her. Do I still have ailments prior because of military? Yeah, some stuff I can't get healed from because it's more muscular skeletal, but ailments as in certain things, she reversed it. Um, and because of that, I have found out that's the lifestyle I want to lead, and I have dedicated myself. I've decided to dedicate my life to educating others to do the same thing. Um, a lot of the ailments that we have and we want to seek treatment for, people don't realize it's on this earth. It's within us the whole time, and they don't realize that. They think you need a medication. I'm not saying medication is evil, but I wish people would stop being so quick to go to that as their first route, because that's what they've been programmed. That's what they've been told to do. A lot of the ailments that people seek treatment for is on what you eat. It starts with the water that you put in your body. The water has minerals in it, has toxins in it. Do you filter your water? A lot of people don't think about that. So, because I have always felt that way, um, I have always been, I believe, a step ahead of most people, because the stuff that people are doing now, I was doing when I first joined the Navy. So, but back to what I was saying. Because of that, you know, I detoxed with her. I did my colonics with her. I seen so much stuff come out of me. I was like, this is not unnatural. And mind you, I'm pretty smallish. I'm not super tiny, super small, but y'all, I'm not 160. I'm like, even now, I literally keep the weight off now. I'm barely 150. I'm like 153-ish, if that. Um, but the reason I say that is because, oh yeah, by the way, the salmon's almost done. I'm chopping it up right now so I can toss it and put it in the air fryer, and then we're gonna put everything together. You see, guys, what I'm talking about. All right. But because I detoxed with her, she literally helped me mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, because she was calling me out. Not like she wasn't a doctor of just herbal medicine, a holistic way of life. She called me out on things I needed to hear, things I thought I had let go, things I had thought I forgotten, and I was gonna be able to ignore. Because what people fail to realize is, if you have any form of trauma, and I'm shaking up the salmon now. If you have any form of trauma, you hold on to it, it travels and it lingers and it settles. So you actually age yourself quicker when you don't let go of things, when you don't address things, you tend to ignore it. You may physically ignore it or verbally ignore it out and about, out in public, but in real life, you didn't ignore anything. You just pushed it to the right. But you're still going to have to eventually have to address it eventually. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, hold on, let me wash my hands. So now that that's good to go, we're going to pause on that story. I'm going to air fry these, and we'll get back to story time. I just thought about something. I didn't tell y'all the seasons I put in it. So I'm gonna tell y'all some of the seasons, and I'll go over it in another video later on how I season my food and what I like to use for it. All right. So 3 of my staples I will forever use with anything. First of all, with anything, it's smoked paprika. Smoked paprika is the GOAT. I don't care how you say it, I don't care what you say, but especially for salmon, it's like chef's kiss. So of course I like glass. So FYI, because I'm also trying to go holistic as well, I tend to shy away from plastic. I'm not gonna say I don't use it. I still use it every now and then. I try not to. And then because I want that little kicking taste to it, bam! I got the Bayou Catch, and because it's seafood, you know I like the enhance the flavor, but I don't want to really change it. The only thing I'm missing, y'all, because I love me some brown mustard. Mustard, that binding agent, it's like it gives it that little extra oomph. But because I make a lot of my own sauces and condiments, I have something. I have my own. I cannot talk today. I have my own honey mustard I made from scratch. So again, that's what I'm talking about when I say I tend to make my own sauces. What I'm going to do is add just a little bit to it. And then I'm going to, of course, shake it up. Shake it up, put it in there, make sure it blends pretty well. I don't use panko crumbs. I don't want panko crumbs. I don't want anything extra. See? Because I want that flavor. Bam. And like when they say, oh, you should let it soak overnight, you don't need all that. Like whoever's saying that, yeah, that's the proper way to do it. But the way life be life and now, no one has time to let stuff soak overnight. We trying to get stuff done. We on the move. We got things to do. So let me go pop this in the air fryer and I'll be back. Y'all just give me a few more minutes. I'm almost done. I'm taking out the chickpeas so I can put the salmon in there. Just give me a minute. Oh yeah, FYI, I'm doing salmon bites because they're quick, easy, and a good source of not just protein, but so many other benefits. So when I make stuff, I tend to want to add things that's going to nourish the body and add to it, not take away. And by add, I mean healthy things, not things that you're going to regret later. I'm almost done. We can get back to story time. Okay. Wash my hands. We can get back to it. Okay. I'm also getting the vegetables ready so y'all can see how I chop things up, because I don't do stuff like most people do. I'm not normal in that aspect. I don't want to be normal. I like doing stuff according to what's going to be best for me. Okay, so I'm getting the vegetables out so that I can show you guys how I do this salad, and then we'll go from there. I also gotta do the salad dressing, so bear with me, guys. Oh, FYI, when you do the sweet pepper and cucumber salad, something you can do, and I always try to tell people, you should clean the vegetables yourself, because a lot of people don't realize these vegetables, especially if it's been pre-packaged, they claim to be clean. They're not as clean as you would hope or like to believe. And I don't want you to, get disappointed when, in all actuality, that's something that you can avoid, because a lot of people don't realize over half the food that's prepackaged, actually all the food that's prepackaged, it has not been thoroughly cleaned, and you're just putting whatever came straight out of the ground right into your body. And a lot of people don't take time to think about that. I do. You know why? Because I don't want anything excessive that doesn't need to be in my body, in my body. So the salmon, I cannot talk today again. The salmon is cooking in the air fryer. I did roasted chickpeas, and I'm going to, for the most part, use this to chop up everything. Oh, sorry. Use this to chop up everything. I would make it cute, but I can plate it cuter. And I like that more than I like trying to make something look super cute. All right. I'm trying to get one more ingredient that I'm going to need before I chop up what I need. If I can't find it, I might have to hand chop, which is nothing wrong with that. But I wasn't trying to do all that. So I found it. All right. So I saw this hack on social media where you take the vegetable cutter and you chop all the vegetables and you turn this into your dip or salad box. So you can just shake it up. And I promise you, probably the smartest thing to do. And I've been using it ever since. So when it comes to chopping up vegetables and stuff, I might do it. But for the most part, no. This, I might still chop up some of them, but mostly I'm going to use that salad box. So give me a minute. And then right now, since we're waiting for that salmon to get done, I'm going to go ahead and blend everything else so that we're not waiting forever. Okay. So one thing we're going to do, because if you're going to make this salad dressing, you need to get a food processor. I love my food processor. My Ninja food processor, chef's kiss. So while we have about 2 minutes left on the salmon, I'm going to go ahead. Actually, you know what? I'm going to chop up the vegetables. It's going to be a little bit quicker. So, and I have numerous cutting boards as well for numerous reasons. So what we're going to do now, because we're coming up on 40 minutes, I'm going to chop everything, put it in here, and then I'm going to do the salad dressing because I want you guys to see the after effect of everything. Okay. So, of course. Oh yeah, something that I want to add as well. When it comes to making salads or making anything, something you guys can do if you're not aware of it, whatever your scraps are left over, hold on to it, freeze it, so you can use it later to turn it into a vegetable broth. Don't pay for vegetable broth. Make it yourself. It's cheaper. All right, so I'm actually cutting the bell peppers now, or the sweet peppers. And when people say, "Oh, get rid of the seeds," no, I don't do that. I think if you are going to be more conscious of your body, you should eat the seeds. The seeds, everything that comes from earth has nutrients, and it's best for us to eat everything that was put on here. That's one thing I'm finding out. So I don't take the skin off anything. If I don't use the skin on anything or the seeds, I incorporate it somewhere later. I'll give you an example. So when it comes to, and there you go, the salmon bites are done. Give me a minute. When it comes to substitutes or alternatives, I'll give you an example. I really don't use black pepper. They say it's a benefit. I'm not gonna say it's not, but after looking into it, I'm gonna say this as a side note. When it comes to you eating whatever you want, do your research. Which brings me back to my story about the provider that I was working with. When I first went to her office, I was super angry and like reactive. Didn't realize that was a parasite in the toxins, and that was a result of having that in my body for a very long time. So when I met her, and I don't recall, but she remembers it, she almost had to call the cops on me because I was so reactive to her. Because the information she was asking me for, you give to every provider. She's a provider. She's just not, I want to say, pharmaceutical provider, as in she's not well known. She's not well versed, as in she's not gonna have all these people working for her. She does everything. So I ended up doing colonics with her. When I did my first colonic, I promise you, the first 3 days, I lost like 5 pounds. Within the first week, I should say, I lost about 5 pounds. And that wasn't, oh my goodness, you lost so much weight. No, that was toxins and parasites. If you would have seen what would have came out of me, you would have like. And the reason I tell people to detox, because it's the same thing every time you do it. You'll see stuff. Come to find out, people think they don't have parasites and toxins. Yes, you do. She showed me she had a wall full of the normal parasites that are the main parasites that are in our body. I was able to see all of them that passed out of me because you're hooked up to a machine when you go to get a colonic. At least with her, I'll do another live about this, but depending on what type of chamber it is, I was hooked up to the machine the whole time going through this session so I could see what was coming out of me. And I'm gonna tell you, after I did my 21-day detox with her, I physically saw, I can't confirm or deny it, but I would say it was an ungodly experience. I physically saw something come out of me that was not identified on the chart. And the reason why I say that, she explained to me that COVID shows up different in each person, and that was the COVID parasite. And I 100% believe her. The reason why, the minute it left my body after like my final session with her, I believe, the minute it left my body, first of all, it was resistant to come out of me. The minute it left my body, the sense of doom and sadness and all this toxicity that's been attached to me, it instantly lifted. My mood changed. On top of me doing the 21-day detox with her, my skin had brightened up. A lot of my hyperpigmentation was gone. A lot of excessive facial hair, body hair that I had was not as visible. And a lot of the body aches I had went away. So a lot of the symptoms I had, like my GERD was so bad, they had doubled they tried to double my dosage. Y'all, I'm not even 40. They tried to double my dosage to almost 80 milligrams. Why? I still have GERD, but I would say it's manageable for the most part. Most of my symptoms, most of my diagnosis I got out the military with has been manageable, and I'm happy because of my lifestyle change. So because of that and other things, as well as with stuff with my family, it made me, with my lifestyle that I was currently in when I was transitioning, you have to realize when you detox or you fast, that is not for you to return back to who you used to be. That is the minute you decide you're going to detox and you're going to fast and do all these things, that is you signaling to yourself subconsciously that you want something different and something new. And I hate to be that person to say, well, you can't do it, just be prepared to do it again. I'm not going to tell you that. But you have to understand the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over again. So if you keep going through the same life cycles over and over and over again, it's probably because you can say whoever you believe in, the universe, I believe in God, the God probably trying to signal you need to do something new and be prepared. Okay? And the reason why I say that, because a lot of people, they like their comfortability is in what they know. And as much as we all can say that's cool, like when people say don't ever change, Cat Williams made a comment about this. I don't want someone to ever say that to me. I should want to change. I can't be the same. Like, I'm not the same person I was when I was in middle school, high school, or when, especially when I was in the military. I'm totally different. Do I have similar characteristics? Of course, yes. But do I act exactly like that person? No. My reactions, not the same. My responses, not the same. My thought process, not the same. My mindset, not the same. So I had to learn, especially during that time of me detoxing, I had to learn something new. And it was also very scary for me. So, since we're near the end of the salad, almost being done, I want to ask something. A lot of people say, oh, get the mini cucumbers that are seedless. Those mini cucumbers are seedless. I'm going to tell you right now, if you are eating fruits and veggies with no seeds, you should be cautious of how healthy that really is. I saw this video on Facebook, can't find it now. Someone had cut into this seedless watermelon. Great, right? Oh, you ain't gotta worry about the seeds. This white pus came out of it and it was leaking out of it. I haven't been able to find the video since. So when people say, oh, I eat seedless fruit, I'm not gonna judge you, but I caution you to eat stuff with seeds in it. Just eat the seeds. The seeds have a nutritional property that you will probably never understand, but it's better for you. You should be eating seeded fruits and veggies. If you are not, just go do your research on what you're putting in your body, and you realize 9 times out of 10, it's a science. It's a science experiment. That's what I'm gonna say. So I cut up most of my veggies, and then I also have a few more peppers I want to cut up. Oh, also because I'm extra, I won't ever do stuff like most people. That's just how I am. I'm also gonna cut up a green bell pepper because I like color. Let's get all the colors of the rainbow, you know? So, and the thing is, I don't cut it all pretty and stuff because I'm still gonna eat it. Like, I need y'all to understand, I'm still gonna eat it. So I just put like a little bit of green in there. Bam. The salmon's done. Bam. This actually might need a bigger container. My bad. But because of that, I didn't do mini cucumbers. I'm not about to do that. Y'all, also, they cost a lot. The mini cucumbers, I seen at the store, full line, $4.99 for some mini cucumbers. Go get you one cucumber for less than $1, and that will last you the same. Like, yeah, you can play it if you want. If the thing is, I'm not gonna judge you if you do spend more money on it. But like, why? If it's just you or a few people, just get the seeded cucumber, and it does the same thing. They don't even have it's good. Trust me. By the time it's done, it's gonna be looking busting. I got y'all. So putting it in there with everything else. I actually might need to put it in a bigger container to mix it up. Okay, and now we're about to make the actual salad dressing. So all these seeds, I promise you, these seeds, I'm either gonna use them to grow stuff, but I'm gonna use these seeds. I don't throw out nothing. When it comes to me, I'm like my ancestors. I use everything. So, okay. I have a bigger container in case this doesn't fit. All right. Bam. All right. Cool. We got. Yeah, I'm gonna get the bigger container. And it's a little salad bowl. So I'll put everything in there and I'll transition it now. Probably smarter. Yeah, it's better if I do that. And then I like this because it gets all the water out. So we don't have all that excess water in there. See? All that water came out. Cool. That's off to the side. So moving on. So now we're going to actually make the salad dressing. Cool. So what you need is you need a few things. 2 carrots. But you have to peel it. And again, if you are going to peel a carrot, well, the thing is you don't have to peel it, but you should peel it because again, you can tell it's been in the ground. But oh, you know what I forgot to tell you guys? The most important thing I do, and I did tell y'all to clean the fruits and veggies, but alkalize the water. I'm gonna make a video later on. I might do it live, explaining how to alkalize the water. I promise you, it don't take much. Those filters, you can trust those filters, but you really want to trust those? You want to trust your life and your health in someone else's hands? Okay. Oh yeah, but back to what I was saying. Another reason why I got into health. So after I got out the military, and I had worked in Texas for a while at that job, I ended up getting a job with one of my part-time jobs. It was short-lived. I worked at a rehab facility. This is the ultimate reason why I went healthy. Like it was other things as well, but then the thing is, in between of me detoxing and trying to eat right, I would kind of find myself tempted going back to stuff that I knew wasn't good for me, like processed sugars, a lot of stuff that was heavy in starch, all those things. I will say this: me working as a receptionist at a rehab facility and seeing all those elderly people having to depend on somebody to take care of them, and how they gotta wait for someone to wipe them, change their diaper, and they would get mistreated, and how nothing was getting done. And some of these people were 50, 60. They want a lot of people were even 70, 80. I'm gonna be honest, that was the motivation I need. Because I'm not, the thing is, I'm realizing, unless it's even if it's your immediate family, if it does not affect other people, most people don't care. And that sounds mean when you think about it, but that's like this part of life. That's a reality check. And most people, like I used to think, especially when I was working there, why don't they just do the right thing? Not everybody's gonna move like that. So I've learned, do what's in your best interest, but also be mindful of other people and how you might necessarily don't realize you might be affected. So it says get a food processor, but we're coming up on time. So I want to put it in here. So you get 2 carrots. They have a specific measurement. This I didn't measure, but I was winging it. And because that's something else you realize, as you start cooking or get comfortable with cooking more and more for yourself, you start winging everything. What works best for you. So I put like a knob of, put that in everything in a minute. Okay, so let me see. Oh, FYI, so I followed this creator called Pickled Plum. I got her recipe, but I did it with a twist because again, one thing I always do, I've learned if I'm going to make something, use someone else's recipe, I never want to steal their whole thing. I always do a version of what they did for the most part, but I add my own twist, and I do that with everything. So with this, you're going to put, it says 7 ounces carrots. I put 2 carrots. 4 ounces of onions. Again, I'm going to use, again, I'm gonna wing it. I don't measure anything. I'm going to put this in here. Okay. I don't know if this is 4 ounces, but I'll put this in here. 2 tablespoons of ginger. So that's about this. Okay. And then one thing I tend to do, because I don't use white sugar, I don't really use a lot of ingredients that are bleached because I found out that's actually not good for you. Now, the one thing I did measure is the sugar. And instead of me using regular sugar, I use a lot of sweeteners. I use maple syrup. This is coconut sugar. So you put 1 tablespoon coconut sugar in here. And then I'm using my Ninja Bullet to blend everything down. Okay. So then use 1/4 cup of soy sauce. I don't really like using soy products, but what I can do instead, I can use amino acids. They do the same thing, if you were wondering. Let me see. Because they do the same thing, one thing I want to show y'all is this right here. This right here is probably my favorite thing to use to this day. If you can't guess what it is, I'm about to tell you. It's a measuring cup for liquids, but it has pints, ounces, cups, grams, everything. So I use this for everything. And the reason why, so I could just want to get it's easy for me to use. And again, it's plastic. So I do still use plastic. I don't heat my food or condiments. I don't heat any type of substance I'm going to ingest. I don't heat it in plastic. I usually use natural products like metal, glass, wood. But for this measurement, I'll do it. So you want to take about 1/4 cup of soy sauce. For stuff like that, yeah, I use those. So if it's a liquid, for that, I'll use exact measurements because you don't want to mess it up. But even then, I kind of wing it because that's still a lot. So, okay, 1/4 cup, and then let's see what else. 1/4 cup of that. Put that in here. Bam. Okay. 1/2 cup of rice vinegar. So I like rice vinegar. People say, oh, you shouldn't use it. You shouldn't use anything. So if you're going to use anything, especially something like this, use it, but use it in moderation. This is 1/2 cup. Okay. Bam. Use that. It's 1/2 cup. See? And it's at the 1/2 cup mark. And you can actually see the rice in there. So I use that. Bam. And then we use teaspoon, what was it? 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 3/4 cups of organic canola oil or vegetable oil. So if you need to know something about your girl, I'm gonna be honest. I won't ever use regular table salt. My blood pressure can't take it. I'm not youngish. I'm not young anymore like that. I'm youngish. So this again. Bam. And then I also use, let's see, I got this out the way. Rice vinegar is done. And then 3-4 cups of vegetable oil. I use extra virgin olive oil. I try to. And because I use that for everything else, 3/4 cup, bam, we're going to go with that. Okay. So one thing you guys can do, dang, I'm running low. One thing you guys can do, if you're trying to save a little bit on certain things, you can. I go shop at Ross. I go shop at TJ Maxx and Marshalls for things like this because I'm not gonna lie, stuff like that is cheaper there than it would be anywhere else. So the thing is, this last ingredient, you don't want to add it until later because you want it to emulsify it in the blender. Because if not, it'll just sink to the bottom, and you need it to actually penetrate into the ingredients well. So we got 3/4, right? So my special ingredient, because I told you guys I don't use regular pepper, I use papaya seeds. Papaya seeds, if that's why I say eat the seeds. If you go look up a good way to detox, if you want to do something real quick, ooh, excuse me, y'all. The yellow dragon fruit, it's high in fiber. Be warned, do not eat that and you gotta go to work the next day. So I'm gonna say the other thing, papaya seeds, same thing. But what I tend to do, I turn it into a pepper substitute. So I dried them out, roasted them, and I blended them down. And because I also, like I said, don't like using other people's recipe, I feel like it's a form of stealing. And also because I wanted to give it that pretty orange, bright orange color, because it has the oil in it that's going to be in there later. You guessed it, I put turmeric. So remember in my skincare video, if you're going to ingest turmeric, it has to be with something that's a fat soluble. So if you're not going to use almonds, in this case I'm going to mix it with the oil that I have. So if you have, as a quick hack for cooking with anything, if you're going to use turmeric and you have oil, why not? Or the other way around, if you have oil in an ingredient, why not use turmeric? Turmeric is good and anti-inflammatory, in case you didn't know. So put that in there. Bam. Coming up on time. Just put this right here. Okay. I had to move that around. Because we're coming up on time, guys. That is basically what it looks like, right? It's that. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to try and put this together so you guys can see it. Bam. Okay. I got my everything bagel seasoning, and I'm missing an ingredient. My chili crisp, right? So Sorry it took so long, guys. I'll try to cut my time down quicker. So next time you guys can just see what needs to be done. Go about y'all day. And bam. But I'm putting it together, so just give me a minute. And because I made a meal out of it, I want you guys to see how it looks. Let me see. So I have kind of a small kitchen. And because this is my first live, you guys gotta kind of work with me. Give me a minute. All right. So this is what it looks like, the salad. So I put roasted chickpeas in it. And then, hold on, I have 2 salad dressings. So if you guys are worried about veggies, because I put veggies in everything. The bell peppers count by like a little bit of green. I want you to see something. Bam. Okay. Okay. Because I just made it, I'm gonna add it to this container. This is the salad, and again, that's plastic too. Tastes good. What I tend to do is, and people say, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." I know I'm going to want to reuse this salad dressing. I freeze it. Why not? I don't want to go bad in 2 weeks. I freeze it, and then once I want to use it again, I'm going to unfreeze it and just reblend it. And this is a cute container it comes in. But also, I want you guys to see this. If you are worried about greens, this is also, you can add the green goddess dressing for the salmon as a dip, or you can just use this salad dressing. And because of that, this is what it looks like. Actually, I'm gonna pour that over the salmon. Right. Because of that, this is what it looks like, guys. You can't tell me that's not pretty. And on that note, I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you had fun learning a little bit about me. I'll share more later. Till next time, guys.